How many of us go through life carrying a version of ourselves that we outgrew years ago? We wake up, follow the same routines, make the same choices, and wonder why our lives haven't changed. The truth is, nothing changes until we decide to change. Every great life, every achievement, every transformation starts with a single powerful decision to stop blaming circumstances, to stop waiting for someone else to rescue us, and to take responsibility for our own growth. Imagine for a moment that your life is a building. Some floors are strong, some are cracked, and some are collapsing under the weight of neglect. You cannot simply paint the walls or rearrange the furniture and expect it to hold. You must rebuild from the foundation up. This is not easy. It requires honesty, courage, and the willingness to face uncomfortable truths about yourself. But here's the promise. The process of rebuilding is also the process of discovering your potential, your strength, and the power that has been inside you all along. Today, we are going to talk about how to rebuild yourself, not in theory, not someday in the future, but now with deliberate steps, clear goals, and relentless determination. Because the life you desire is not somewhere out there. It begins with the person you choose to become. Before you can rebuild yourself, you must first understand exactly where you stand today. Rebuilding without knowing your starting point is like trying to construct a house. Without a foundation, you may be busy, but you won't be building anything that lasts. Self-assessment is more than just listing what you do well and what you don't. It's about taking a brutally honest look at yourself, your habits, your mindset, and your behaviors. Many people avoid this step because it can feel uncomfortable to confront the parts of themselves they don't like. But avoiding the truth only prolongs stagnation and keeps you trapped in patterns that do not serve your future. You must ask yourself hard questions. Which habits are keeping me from growing? Which fears have held me back? Where do I waste my time and energy? What kind of person am I becoming if I continue on this path? These questions are not meant to make you feel guilty. They are meant to give clarity. Clarity is the seed of transformation because you cannot change what you cannot see. Self-assessment also requires looking at your strengths with equal honesty. Many people focus only on their weaknesses and miss the power they already have. Understanding your strengths allows you to leverage them as building blocks in your rebuilding process. It's about knowing where you can accelerate growth and where you may need to slow down and improve. This process is not static, it is ongoing. Your abilities, your mindset, and your circumstances will shift over time, and checking in with yourself regularly ensures that you remain aware and proactive. The tools of self-assessment can be as simple as journaling, reflecting at the end of each day, or seeking honest feedback from those you trust. Journaling helps you capture patterns of thought and behavior, giving you insight into recurring obstacles or self-limiting beliefs. Reflection allows you to connect your daily actions with your long-term goals and recognize where alignment is missing. Feedback from others can shine light on blind spots you may never see on your own, helping you refine your understanding of how you are perceived versus who you truly are. True self-assessment requires courage. It is easy to settle for surface-level observations or excuses, but real growth begins when you confront the truth without flinching, when you see both your potential and your flaws, and when you accept that the responsibility for change rests squarely in your hands. This understanding is the bedrock of any meaningful transformation, and until you take this step, every attempt to rebuild yourself will lack direction, purpose, and strength. Taking responsibility for your life is one of the most powerful steps you can take on the path to rebuilding yourself. Too often, people live as if life happens to them, blaming circumstances, other people, or even luck for their setbacks. They say, if only this had happened, or if only that person hadn't done this, and in doing so, they give away their power. But the truth is that real growth begins the moment you accept that your life is the result of your choices, actions, and responses. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you will always control what happens to you. It means you control how you respond, how you move forward, and how you shape your future despite the circumstances. When you embrace this mindset, you stop being a passive observer and become the active architect of your life. Responsibility begins with honesty. You must face the reality of where you are and acknowledge your role in creating your current situation. This is uncomfortable because it often forces you to admit mistakes, missed opportunities, and poor decisions. But it is also freeing because it shows you that the same hands that may have built the past also have the power to build the future. Every choice you make, no matter how small, contributes to the trajectory of your life. By taking responsibility, you reclaim control over that trajectory. You stop waiting for someone else to save you, and you stop relying on external conditions to dictate your happiness or success. This principle also requires a shift in mindset. Life is not something that happens to you. It is something you actively participate in. You cannot control the weather, the economy, or the behavior of others, but you can control your preparation, your attitude, and your work ethic. When you accept responsibility, excuses lose their grip, and your energy is redirected toward solutions, not complaints. Every problem becomes an opportunity to act, every failure a lesson, and every delay a chance to grow stronger. Taking responsibility is not a one-time decision. It is a daily commitment. It shows up in the way you handle challenges, respond to criticism, and make choices when no one is watching. It requires courage to face your shortcomings, humility to ask for guidance, and discipline to follow through with your commitments. This step transforms your mindset from that of a victim to that of a leader in your own life. You realize that the power to rebuild, to improve, and to create the life you want lies entirely within you. Once you fully embrace this responsibility, everything else in your rebuilding journey begins to align. Because you are no longer waiting for life to change, you are choosing to change yourself first. Embracing change is one of the most essential and yet most difficult steps in rebuilding yourself. Most people resist change because it feels uncomfortable and uncertain. They cling to familiar habits, old routines, and relationships that no longer serve them because it is easier than stepping into the unknown. But rebuilding yourself requires movement, and movement requires letting go. If you try to carry the weight of the past into your future, you will be slowed, limited, and eventually exhausted. Change is not just about doing new things. It is about consciously choosing to leave behind what has become a barrier to your growth. This could mean releasing unproductive habits, outdated beliefs, toxic relationships, or even old identities that no longer fit the person you want to become. Letting go is not a one-time act, it is a process. It requires honest reflection to identify what is holding you back. Many people think they are growing simply by adding new skills or goals, but true growth comes when you remove the obstacles that keep you tied to the old version of yourself. It could be fear, doubt, or negative self-talk. It could be lingering resentment or regret. Whatever it is, until you confront it and release it, the energy you spend trying to move forward will be wasted in resistance. Embracing change also means accepting that discomfort is a natural part of growth. Fear and uncertainty are not signs that you are on the wrong path. They are indicators that you are stretching beyond your comfort zone, which is where transformation occurs. Change also requires a mindset shift. You must see endings not as failures or losses, but as opportunities for renewal. Every habit you replace, every belief you challenge, and every outdated routine you discard makes room for something better. Growth demands flexibility. Life is not static, and neither can you be. Clinging to the old way of being may feel safe, but it guarantees stagnation. Courage is the fuel for embracing change. It is the willingness to step into the unknown with faith in your ability to adapt, learn, and thrive. This step also calls for action. Change is not only about mental acceptance, it is about visible transformation in your daily life. Replace unhelpful habits with productive ones, surround yourself with people who inspire growth, and seek environments that challenge and elevate you. Each small choice to embrace the new and release the old compounds over time, creating momentum that propels you forward. Rebuilding yourself requires that you actively practice letting go, embracing uncertainty, and stepping boldly into the version of yourself that is ready to rise above the limitations of yesterday. Investing in yourself consistently is one of the most reliable ways to rebuild your life. Too many people wait for opportunities, luck, or external circumstances to improve their situation, not realizing that the greatest investment they can make is in their own growth. This investment is not necessarily financial, it is the time, energy, and effort you dedicate to developing your mind, skills, health, and character. It is the daily commitment to becoming a better version of yourself, even when it feels slow, invisible, or unrewarding. Transformation is rarely instantaneous. It is the result of repeated, intentional actions that compound over time. Small improvements made every day eventually lead to extraordinary results. Investing in yourself begins with learning. Reading, studying, and seeking knowledge are not just academic exercises. They are the tools that expand your perspective and sharpen your ability to navigate life's challenges. Every new idea you embrace, every new skill you acquire, and every lesson you internalize adds to your capacity to create, influence, and succeed. But knowledge alone is not enough. You must also take action on what you learn. Applying what you learn in meaningful ways turns abstract knowledge into real-life results. Practicing your skills, experimenting with new approaches, and learning from mistakes is where true growth occurs. Equally important is investing in your physical and mental well-being. Your energy, focus, and resilience are all products of how well you care for yourself. Consistent effort toward physical fitness, proper nutrition, rest, and stress management creates the foundation upon which all other growth is built. Neglecting your body and mind undermines the other investments you make and slows the rebuilding process. Investing in yourself also includes nurturing your character. Honesty, discipline, patience, and empathy are qualities that compound over time and shape the way you experience life and the people you attract into it. Consistency is the key. One day of effort will not transform you, but one day repeated, week after week, year after year, will produce results beyond your imagination. The process requires discipline to maintain focus, even when motivation wanes, and resilience to continue despite setbacks. It also requires self-awareness to recognize which investments yield the highest return and which actions drain your energy without contributing to growth. By consistently choosing to invest in yourself, you create a trajectory that is upward, not stagnant. Your skills, mindset, and character grow stronger, and you naturally position yourself for opportunity, relationships, and achievements that align with the person you are becoming. Rebuilding yourself is not a passive journey. It is an intentional one. Every choice to learn, to practice, to care for your health, and to strengthen your character adds bricks to the foundation of the life you are constructing. Consistent self-investment turns small, daily actions into the momentum that carries you forward and shapes the future you desire. Setting clear goals and taking decisive action is the bridge between the person you are today and the person you want to become. Many people spend their lives drifting, hoping things will somehow improve on their own, but hope without direction rarely produces meaningful change. Goals provide clarity and focus. They act as a compass, guiding your decisions, your habits, and your energy toward a defined destination. Without clear goals, your efforts can scatter, and even hard work can become wasted energy. The process of setting goals requires more than just wishful thinking. It requires specificity, commitment, and an understanding of what truly matters to you. A goal should be tangible enough that you can measure progress and motivate, enough that it pulls you forward even when challenges arise. Once goals are established, action becomes the critical factor. A goal alone is meaningless without execution. Many people fall into the trap of endless planning, waiting for the perfect moment, or seeking more information before studying. The truth is, progress is born out of imperfect action. Taking consistent steps, even small ones, creates momentum. Each action, no matter how minor it seems, compounds over time and brings you closer to your vision. Action also produces feedback, revealing what works, what doesn't, and what adjustments are necessary. This iterative process is how mastery and growth are achieved. Goal setting also involves prioritization. Not all goals are created equal, and trying to pursue too many at once leads to diluted effort and frustration. Identify the few critical objectives that will have the greatest impact on your life and direct your energy toward them relentlessly. Breaking larger goals into smaller, manageable steps makes the process less overwhelming and creates measurable progress along the way. Each completed step reinforces confidence and builds momentum, which is essential when facing inevitable obstacles. Discipline is the engine that drives action. Motivation fluctuates, but disciplined effort continues regardless of how you feel. It is through persistent effort, often in the absence of immediate reward, that real transformation occurs. This consistency is what separates those who rebuild themselves from those who merely dream about it. Taking responsibility for your goals also means accepting accountability for your results. Success is not handed to you. It is earned through focus, deliberate practice, and a willingness to face setbacks without giving up. Ultimately, setting clear goals and taking action transforms vague aspirations into tangible progress. It turns ideas into results and intentions into accomplishments. Every decision, every task, and every effort is aligned with a larger purpose, creating a life that moves in a deliberate and powerful direction. By combining clarity, prioritization, and disciplined action, you create momentum that cannot be easily stopped. Goals give your rebuilding process structure, and action gives it reality, ensuring that the life you are constructing is not left to chance but built with intentionality and determination. Resilience and persistence are the forces that carry you through the inevitable challenges that arise when you rebuild yourself. Life is not a straight path, and anyone attempting meaningful change will encounter setbacks, failures, and obstacles. These moments are not signs that you should give up. They are tests of your commitment and opportunities to strengthen your character. Resilience is the ability to recover from difficulties, to bend without breaking, and to maintain faith in your capacity to overcome. It is not about avoiding hardship, but about facing it head-on, learning from it, and using it as fuel to propel you forward. Persistence, on the other hand, is the willingness to continue acting toward your goals even when progress is slow, circumstances are challenging, or results are not immediately visible. Together, resilience and persistence form the backbone of sustained growth and transformation. Building resilience requires mindset and perspective. Challenges are inevitable, but how you perceive them determines their impact. Instead of seeing failures as dead ends, resilient individuals see them as lessons and opportunities for improvement. Each setback provides information about what works and what doesn't, revealing areas where adjustment is necessary. By reframing difficulties as a natural part of the growth process, you reduce fear and hesitation, which often paralyzes action. Resilience also grows through practice. Every time you confront discomfort, uncertainty, or disappointment and choose to move forward anyway, your capacity to handle future challenges strengthens. Persistence requires consistent effort and unwavering commitment to your goals. Motivation alone is unreliable. It comes and goes based on mood, energy, and circumstance. Persistence is disciplined action taken regardless of whether you feel like it. It is showing up day after day, doing the work, and refusing to let temporary setbacks dictate your trajectory. Persistence is the force that transforms small, incremental steps into lasting progress. It is through repeated effort over time that skills improve, habits solidify, and results compound. Resilience and persistence also work together. Resilience allows you to recover from failures without losing momentum, and persistence ensures that you continue moving forward despite challenges. Both qualities require emotional strength, self-belief, and a focus on long-term outcomes rather than short-term frustration. Life will inevitably throw obstacles in your path, but your ability to endure, adapt, and persevere will define the outcome of your rebuilding journey. Those who master resilience and persistence learn to embrace setbacks as part of the process and continue moving forward with determination and confidence, turning obstacles into stepping stones and struggles into growth. As we reach the end of this journey together, remember this. Rebuilding yourself is not a one-time event. It is a commitment to growth, to change, and to becoming the person you were always meant to be. It starts with honest self-assessment, taking responsibility for your life, embracing change, investing in yourself, setting clear goals, and cultivating resilience and persistence. Each step builds on the other, creating momentum that transforms not just your circumstances, but the very essence of who you are. Your past does not define you, and your setbacks do not limit you. The power to create, to grow, and to rise stronger lies within you. Every choice you make today, every action you take, and every moment you dedicate to improvement is a brick in the foundation of your new life. So go forward with courage. Face your challenges, learn from your failures, and keep moving even when the road feels long. Believe in your potential, commit to your growth, and never underestimate the strength that comes from consistent effort and determination. I wish you all the very best on this journey of rebuilding yourself. Good luck. Stay persistent. And thank you for taking the time to invest in the most important project you will ever work on yourself.